Hi, welcome. It's Grandma Roseanne, and we're going to make a frosting today. Now, my mom used to make a frosting, and we called it the White Mountain frosting. That's the all-American meringue frosting. Then, as I started to learn a little bit more about meringues and frostings and the variances on them, I realized that there's an American meringue, there's a French meringue, there's an Italian meringue. But boy, oh boy, you guys, when I got to the Italian meringue, oh my goodness, that was just absolute heaven is what that was. So that's what I'm going to teach you how to make today. It's not difficult, but there are a few steps that you're going to want to take to ensure you have great success. So I will take you through each one of those steps. The first thing we're going to do is I am going to weigh everything out. And the reason I'm weighing it out is because accuracy is very important. If you don't have a scale, this is a scale I'm using. If you don't have a scale like this, I'm going to give it to you in cups and ounces. But if you do have a scale, all the better, because there's so many variances. This is a very, very easy frosting. Ingredient-wise, sugar, water, egg white, cream of tartar, that's it. Oh, and some vanilla if you want. You can put any kind of flavoring in that you like. So I'm going to start with the saucepan. Again, important, get your heaviest saucepan that you have because this is going to be cooking to 240 degrees. You don't want it to burn on the bottom. So what I'm going to put in our saucepan is 170 grams of water, and that is 3/4 of a cup. And then I also want to weigh out our sugar. Now, if you're smarter than I am, which I hope you are, you're going to weigh out the sugar before you weigh out the water. That wasn't really smart on my part. I wasn't thinking ahead. All right. So now I'm going to add the sugar, and I'm going to zero out my scale. And we want 340 grams of sugar. 340 grams of sugar equals 1 1/3 cup of sugar. So that's just going to go in. Now I'm going to set this aside for just a minute, and I want to go ahead and work with the eggs. What I want in eggs is 142 grams of egg. Egg white is all that we're going to be using. Now this is kind of important because you can have a medium, a large, an extra large egg, and they're all going to have a different weight of the content of the white. So we're going to just go ahead and weigh these out until we have 142 grams or 4 egg whites. Now it's critical when you're doing this kind of a meringue, or actually any kind of a meringue, it's critical that you do not get any of the yolk in there. None of that yolk. Very important. So I generally will crack these and strain them through my fingers because you have less likelihood of breaking that yolk when you're doing it gently. Now as you're doing your yolks, you're going to find that there is a little white, or this little membrane right here, if you can see that. And that's what holds the yolk to the white of the egg. It's just protein. You can use it or not, remove it, whatever, it's not going to make a difference. I'm at 123. So you see the differences there? I'm going to grab another egg. I need 142. All right, I am exactly at 142 here, and that really is important. But on my eggs, the size eggs, even though it said large eggs, what I found is that 4 eggs didn't do it. I had to bring in 5. Now, as you're making your meringue and you're 1 whole egg short, it is going to make a difference. It really will. Now, again, and I say this in so many videos, if you really want to start doing some really fine things in your kitchen, invest in your tools. Just invest in them. And here I'm talking about a scale. $10, $15, you can get a scale. no expense, and so accurate. So I'm going to put these into my KitchenAid, and we want 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar. Now, cream of tartar is pretty important, you guys. It's a stiffening agent. It's going to help those yolks. It's going to help those yolks to really stay firm and have real nice peaks on them. All right. Now, it's kind of important that you have this part done before you start the heat on your syrup. All right. Maverick, shush. One thing that I want to mention, because you might be looking at this and saying, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with all those yolks? Am I going to throw them away? No, don't throw them away. Make ice cream. I have a grandson here that I went to Dallas and I picked him up and brought him back so that he could spend a week with cameraman and I have all of these yolks, so I'm going to make ice cream with him tomorrow. Or if you want to make pudding, there's so many things you can do with those yolks, so don't throw them away. All right, well, I have obviously moved over here to the stove, and so I'm going to stir this. I'm just incorporating that water and that sugar, and I've got it on a medium heat, and I'm going to stir this until it starts to simmer. Once it starts to simmer, do not stir it anymore. Just leave it alone and let it do what it's going to do. So we are going to do this up to 230 degrees, and then we're going to start another activity that's going to help us along here. One of the things is this is starting to heat up. You're going to see that it's going to crystallize around the edges. Chuck, can you come here and take a look at this? If you guys can see this, what happens is this sugar is trying to get back to its original form. Well, we don't want it at its original form. So what you do is you just take a brush, a little bit of water, and you just go right around the edge, and you get that off of there. The reason you're doing that is you don't want those crystallized portions to get into your meringue. You don't want that crunchy stuff in there. So very easy to do. Just take a look at it, periodically go in and give it a little bit of a wash. Just like that. Now this has come up to a simmer. I stopped doing any stirring on it. It's just simmering very nicely in here. We have to take this up to 230 degrees. Now I have an instant read thermometer here, which is, this one is just, I love this. It's really wonderful. You can pick one of these up, again, Amazon, very, very inexpensive. And then at 230 degrees, now we're going to start working with the egg whites. Ultimately, we're going to take this up to 240 degrees. As soon as this hits 230, I'm going to go over and I'm going to start to froth the egg whites. Now at 230 degrees, I'm over here and I'm just getting started right now with the eggs and getting them frothy. We're going to let those just move for a little bit here. They're going to get all white and fluffy inside. Very, very slowly, and I'm going to just drizzle along the side of the pan of my mixer, because I just don't want this hot sugar just spooning out all over. So we're going to be at a medium heat, medium temperature, and very slowly frothy. If you want them frothy, you're going to use them at 3 to 5 minutes. If you want them medium peaks, it's going to be 5 to 7. If you want them at stiff peaks, that's what we want for the frosting, it's going to be 8 to 10. So we're just going to kick this up now. Probably another 9 minutes. So I'll be back. Now, if you wanted a soft peak, this is what it would look like. Just like that. That's a very, very soft peak. And that has its place in cooking as well. But we don't want that, so we're going to continue on. First test I showed you, I hope I told you it was at soft peaks. I meant to say soft. I'm not quite sure if I did or not. here we are at medium peaks. You can see the difference on those. They're still pretty wobbly, but they're medium. That's still not what we want. So we are going to continue until we get to the hard, stiff peaks. I'm going to be putting in 1 teaspoon of vanilla. You can put in whatever you want. You can put raspberry or lemon or any flavoring that you like. We just really happen to like vanilla. So 1 teaspoon went in. We have gone a full 10 minutes on this, so I want you to see what these peaks look like. Look at that. That is amazing. That is a stiff peak. All right, now, what I did earlier, because I was being very nice to cameraman, I baked a 3-layer chocolate cake. And that 3-layer chocolate cake recipe is in one of our videos, and you might want to try it because I'm telling you, it is outrageously good. So I'm going to start kind of frosting that cake, and you can come along with me so that you can see what a Italian meringue frosting actually looks like at its peak of beauty. I'll be back in a second. What helps you a lot is to have an offset spatula like this. Really helps in the decorating. Well, here we are. We have a beautiful 3-layer cake with Italian meringue on it. Now, if we want to just make it a little bit more exquisite, go out to the garage and get your husband's torch. So, let's see what we can do with this torch. Do you think that adds a little bit of color to it, a little bit of different dimension to it? It's not going to change the taste of it at all. It's still going to... Maverick, turn that on. I have a 5-year-old grandson here who I told him he could come and have the first taste of this amazing cake. He just turned my lights off. But because he turned them back on, come on, Maverick. Let's have a bite of this cake. I have to get a plate. And come over here so everybody can see you. This is the evidence that he was a frosting bandit. Okay. Could you get a fork? Because I forgot to get a fork. Got it? Now you have to be real honest. When we do this, you have to say whether it's really good, not too good, or just kind of good. Okay, back up a little bit. Does that look good? Okay, now for the official taster.
Oh my goodness.
Tell them.
Really good.
Really good.
Can I finish it?
What?
Can I finish it?
You can finish it. It's yours. Well, here we are. It didn't take that long to do it. A couple of important steps. Be sure your timing is perfect. Be sure your temperature is perfect. Understand when to start frothing and when to actually stop the peaks. If you want it for a frosting like this, if you want it, oh my goodness sakes. Look at at that little face, will you? Oh my God. So if you want it at peaks like this, go for the full 10 minutes. So with that being said, get the ingredients below and the instructions will be there. Subscribe. Hit the subscribe button and hit the bell because we're posting every day. So thank you so much. We are going to enjoy this. This was supposed to be for after dinner with ice cream, but I think we've kind of had our before dinner cake. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Say bye to the people.
Bye.